Hello and welcome to the tour of Adventura Italia, which is my fourth park I've made on Planet Coaster. We're starting off here at the entrance, surrounded by the lovely colourful flowers and all of these planters. We'll have a look at the car park first. So firstly we've got these bollards so the cars can't get into the main pedestrian part. And a small concrete area around here where you can wait for your taxis. I've tried to fill out both sides of the car parks, which are identical, with loads of different cars to make them look very lived in. And then the entrance and exits to the car parks are just here, which will take you out into the rest of the world and maybe a bit overflow car parks if the theme park gets too busy. Some really nice views of the coasters, and this theme park is on an island. Obviously the main inspiration for that would be Thorpe Park here in the UK. I know it's not a true island because it has quite a few bridges and actual land connections over to the mainland, but I wanted to do this island to quite challenge myself in terms of how I can make a park completely on a standalone island with just one bridge here to get onto it for the park guests and one bridge at the back for maintenance and staff access. This is the entrance structure. I'm quite happy with the way this turned out. I built it out of the wooden beams with the large text on top of it. You go through your security checks with the bagged searches and the metal detection and you are into the park. Got a lot of really nice views across all the different rides on this bridge. Especially the Intamin Blitz coaster over there with the top hat, which is obviously inspired by Velocicoaster. So you come down into this main plaza area. I wanted this to almost feel like a more modern Italian village with quite a lot of traditional buildings, so I'll take you around. I've got all-day lockers here, so say if you've got larger bags that you've brought with you, you can leave them in here so you don't have to bring them around the park with you all day. I've got customer service, staff area, 2 toilets here with water fountains. I prefer now to make my toilets almost like set round the corner so you can't immediately see them, just to give it a bit more realism, and the building is much bigger than just the one 4 metre by 4 metre toilet block as well, because obviously they would be in real life. This is the plaza here with the large floor mural in the middle, and then the inbuilt benches. I've put benches inside the big stone piece that surrounds it just to add a nice bit of realism. So down here I've got a refreshment stand and a pizza shop with some seating. These Italian flag banners covering here, acting as a bit of shading. Another seating area here with a fries and ice cream place. The merchandise shop for the park, and then the port bar, which is very, very busy for some reason. The guests don't really know where to go, so this is just a bar with a nice seating area that looks out across the water and down to like a port area almost. So this would be a nice little seating area, especially on a night with the covering of all the plants and the lights. We'll go through now into our first area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep coming back into this plaza to go out into the other areas, because this is like the main hub of the park. So into the first area now, which is the modern area. As you can see, we've got a large Intamin Blitz coaster, clearly inspired by Velocicoaster, Universal Islands of Adventure. This is a new generation Intamin Blitz coaster, so it's not the old like lattice track like Taron uses. This is the newer style track, so it's got all the newer style transitions and everything. How I've managed to do this in game is by getting the Formula 1 type roller coaster and just putting in the 2 launches of it. Obviously this is a cable launched coaster, but I've put signs, as you'll see later, on the actual launch straight, so it looks like an LSM launch straight, and then I've just edited out the part where it stops for the second launch. So that's how I've managed to do that. There's a little seating area here. Most of the rides custom supported as well. Down into the rest of the second half of the layout. As you can see, around all the low to the ground sections, I've put these custom fences in so you can still see through them, but it's still too tall for guests to get over and gain access to that area. So this coaster is called Lampo Rosso. I assume there's going to be a lot of mispronunciation of Italian in this park tour, but I'm not Italian, so I'm probably going to butcher most of them, so I'm sorry in advance, but this translates to red lightning. As I'm sure you're all aware, all the ride names are chosen by you all, my viewers, which is a really nice thing that I've kept wanting to do, because it just keeps you all interacting in the comment section. It's really nice to hear from you all and come up with these amazing creative names, and I wouldn't be able to do all of these names by myself because I would be absolutely hopeless, so thank you all for these. Go into the queue now. I really wanted to build all the queue walls out of glass as well so you can get some great views of the ride, and because of the metal detection you've got before you go onto the ride, you don't particularly have to worry about loose articles coming off. We've got a few queue coverings, but not too many. I really like this section here where the airtime hill and the inversion touch together, like for the tracks to add a bit of reinforcement to each other. Some really nice views coming through this queue. Really up close to all the track. You'd be great if you were a vlogger to get your camera out on certain bits here. Get some really nice views of the coaster. So you come here to the double-sided lockers so you can fit your smaller loose articles in. So on the exit to the ride you'll get to the other side of this locker. Come here and there's a nice view through the window of the coaster going through its final inversion. And you see here where the metal detectors are. Go up to the station, which is a lovely view all across the island, and then a special view of that top hat just there. I really liked this station building, creating it, brought out my architecture skills. Quite happy with the result, so I will talk to you after the coaster. So that was the Intamin Blitz coaster, Red Lightning. As you can see here, I've added a bit of detail to the ride operator's booth and a CCTV area around here so the operators can check on how the ride's performing. Like I mentioned about this specific ride type only having the hydraulic cable launch, you can see where I've put the road traffic signs in to look like LSMs. And then when it reaches the second launch it will get stopped and then start again, so obviously it has to connect to the cable, but with editing you can just take that out. So it looks like the newer Intamin Blitz coasters. I can hope that Planet Coaster 2 will have this. It'll make my life much easier when I make more of these coasters, but for now this is the only workaround for it. Got the lockers here, the other side of the double-sided, like I mentioned earlier. And you come out of the station. And you've got your ride photo booth. All the rides have their own photo booths in this park. I just wanted to introduce that to all of them because I really like it when you can come off a ride and look at your funny reactions of the coaster, say if you really liked it or not. You can get some quite funny faces out of it. I just really like the way this coaster interacts with the area and the scenery, with all the plantation and everything. So if you go down to the bottom of this area, there's this is the first flat ride that we'll come to. I'm not going to ride any of the flat rides in this tour just because it'll take too long, but you can download the park, of course, and look at them yourself. So this comes Disco Volante, I think it's called, but it's Flying Saucer in English. Obviously, I'm not Italian, so it's not going to be the best coming from me. There's a little viewing platform up here as well where you can watch the coaster going through its first part of the layout. And then down there is a path to the rest of the park and the maintenance road down there. You can go and have a look at the maintenance area for this ride. So you come through this gate, go down here, and then this maintenance road connects all the way down this side of the park as well. It's just got the maintenance area down here. Transfer track up at the top. Because of how high that is, there's a lift down so the trains can be removed if they ever need to go off somewhere, off site to get work done. Go back this way. And we'll go back to the main plaza to get to the other parts of the park. Go down here where there's some toilets and the bridge over to the other parts of the park. We're going to go back through the main plaza just to show you all the different parts you can get to from in here. So we'll go forward this time underneath the Italian banner flags to the Vekoma Suspended Family Coaster, the FSC. I've only ridden one of these, which is RMF Dragon Coaster, Energylandia. I think there's only a couple of that same model around, so I wanted to try and make a custom model of it. So this one's called Falco, which translates to hawk in English. I quite like the style of this ride. I've created these almost like tree trunks with the supporting on. Just give an interesting interaction with those trees as it like swings around them. I hope Vekoma build more of these. Even though it's a family coaster, the one at Energylandia is quite forceful and very fast, so I really enjoyed it when I rode it. So they're definitely quite a good ride model, these. I'd like to see Vekoma make more of them. So obviously got the ropes and vines here covering the side of the station so guests can't get out. And into the station now. I will see you after the POV. So that was the Vekoma Suspended Family Coaster. I really like the layout of that. It's quite a nice simple layout that you can kind of see the manufacturers doing. Not too long, pretty forceful. It's got some interesting elements as well. Got some a bench there that you can put your bags in. Going down here, got the maintenance area. You can see where the transfer track is to store 2 trains in there. A bit of a maintenance area down here. How you bake this coaster, you use the Steel Dragon, which is the aerodynamic swinging suspended coaster, and then you just make sure your interchangeable train setting is on and you can switch it out for the 2-seater trains. I've custom supported mine fully just because the actual supports for the Steel Dragon coaster are a dead giveaway that it's an Arrow coaster and not the newer Vekomas. So this is fully custom supported just to make it look like the newer generation of coaster. Got the ride photos for here is this one as well, and then under the toilets building. So we're going to go back through the main plaza again, just so we can get better bearings for how the park's laid out. Got the first of 2 play areas here. Obviously the guests can't use them, hopefully another thing they can add in Planet Coaster 2. Go back through the main plaza, and then into this area, which is kind of like a port area for the park. So the first thing you'll come to is this large eating area down here, which just has a grill, bakery, ice creams and a churros stand. It's quite a nice view over the surroundings as well, with lots of seating, and an undercover part with some nice lights on it as well. So the first ride you'll come to this area is L'Alto, I think it's called. Probably very badly pronounced, but I think it just means high or drop. So it's a SNS shot tower. So obviously it shoots up and down and then can hold you at the top to drop you as well. I'll take you in the queue a little bit for this one just so you can see. It's kind of like one building that wraps around the whole queue, and then this building also doubles up as the photo building for the Vekoma coaster and the toilets that you saw on the other side. So most of the buildings have more than one purpose in this park, it just adds a little bit of realism. We go down here to the main ride in this area. It's kind of like a boardwalk area I've created here, with how you can get up close to the edge to watch the main attraction go past, which is the log flume. Intamin log flume. It's called Silver River Flume, so we'll go up the queue. I quite like the queue for this one, how it's kind of elevated above part of the actual log flume. I do wish I'd made it a little bit longer so you can fit more guests in it, but I really like how the roof is kind of like vines and then the walls are the ropes. To get in, you get some pretty good views across the park and out of the park as well from the station building. So I will see you after the ride. Was the Silver River Flume. Go back down the exit path. Obviously all the queues in my parks are wheelchair accessible, so if the actual queue line doesn't have any stairs you can go up there, or if the exit path is just a ramp and no stairs, obviously wheelchairs can get up both, which is always something really important which I want to do in my parks. On the ride photos here, continue down the boardwalk area, obviously getting some great views of the log flume. I designed it so that the fence would actually be quite low here, and the area is quite expansive so you can get some really nice views. Got the second flat ride in this area, which is Cyclone, which is a large wheel, which gets some really good views of the park, as you saw in the cinematics. Got the really big structure here for the log flume that passes through it twice. I really like the idea of having quite a big building for the log flume, so this was the best I could come up with and I was quite happy with it. Go down here. I really liked how the wooden coaster and the log flume interact with each other, how they can both see each other, how they're both so close to each other and they can get some really good interacting moments if you catch them both operating at the same time. Got two water features either side of here, hopefully something that could make Ayamati proud. As we come off this boardwalk area now, we kind of make it round the back of the Family Vekoma coaster, onto the wooden coaster. So this is an Intamin prefabricated wooden coaster like Colossus and El Toro. They don't really make many of these. I don't think they've made too many altogether, but I really like the look of them. They're a lot more intense looking than your normal wooden coasters, say by like PCI. A lot more insane elements. I would really like it if Intamin built more of these. So this is kind of like what I would imagine a modern Intamin prefab coaster would be like, with some of Intamin's newer transitions. And obviously the in-game supports of the wooden coasters aren't the most accurate because they all just go straight down, which won't. On the highly banked areas like this on wooden coasters, the supports would have to come out sideways. So I've built these like wooden lattice structures on a few of the higher force area of the ride, just to deal with the forces that the ride gives a bit better. It is a bit complicated building them, but once you get the hang of it you can just copy and paste them and it's not too bad. Obviously putting in the steels as well where the path goes, just to strengthen this part of the ride. And I really like how the ride almost opens up into this kind of plaza that the queue winds around. So the first drop over there, it's pretty much the exact same height and descent angle as El Toro at the Six Flags parks. So I went on a bit of a rollercoaster database to have a look at that just to make sure that it's accurate. We'll skip the queue because I own the park. Some really nice interaction with the coaster here at points as well. Some really nice head chopper effects with the other pieces of track while you're on the ride. Obviously great views while you're off ride as well, you can see it flying around past you. And that's the maintenance area down there as well, covered by all of the steels as well, with the transfer tracks for the extra trains. And then the station building, I've kind of built it out of like wooden beams, and there's like tarp cloth on the ceiling. It's quite a simple station build, but as you can see, as I've gone to go and smooth parts of the coaster, it started to clip through, so maybe some better thought could have been put into this one, but we'll deal with it. So I will talk to you after the POV. So that was the Intamin prefab coaster. Come down the exit here. Because of how I've made the exit to the ride, I've had to put in a lift for wheelchair users, which is completely fine. It's definitely viable. Just a little lift here to bring them down to the ground floor with a little ramp to get off, just because there's stairs on that part of the exit. Some really nice views of the coaster again as you're exiting. And then back into the main park past the photo unit. I really like the how this ride actually came out. I've never built a Intamin prefab coaster before. I haven't actually built that many wooden coasters before, so it came out quite well. And I think I might be making a video soon on how to RMC a wooden coaster, so I think this might be a top contender for the coasters that I'd use for one of those. This is onto the beach area now, which is kind of like another a boardwalk style area but by the beach. They've got one of these drinks units either side, so there's like a bar in the middle and seating around the side, and there's one of those at either end of the boardwalk. And then this is kind of like the second main food unit of the park. So there's all the different types of food, loads of offerings, and then some shaded seating down here looking out onto the sea, which we'll go down there now and have a look. So down onto the beach here, got the water markers out there so people don't swim further than those, just for safety, and then the lifeguards can still see people. And I've put little jets underneath the water so it looks like the waves are coming onto the shore, which is something I'd like to see them add in Planet Coaster too. Like different types of weather interaction with land, and like different types of water interaction with land and weather and certain things. It'd be really interesting mechanics they could add to the game. There's a little tease of the last coaster of the park as well. Won't take too much, I'll save it to the end. Loads of deck chairs down here as well, so you can come and eat food on the beach if you want. Have a play in the sand and the sea. And then there is 2 rides in this area as well down here. So there's another toilets unit and 2 flat rides. So there's this spinning sort of flat ride that I can't remember the name of, the actual ride model. And then there is this kind of like slightly smaller thrilling Ferris wheel almost. Actual ride cars spin while you're on there, so you can invert on them. It's like a slightly more thrilling Ferris wheel. So you can, this area is down the back of the Vekoma family coaster, got the maintenance area like there, and we can go back down here now before we go to the other side of the park to get to the rest of the modern area. You can come past here, down the toilets, next to the Vekoma family coaster, and across onto the Formula 1 track. Thought it'd be rude not to do a Formula 1 track because of one of the most famous things in Italy being Ferrari. So you've got this bridge here that takes you over into the modern area with the Intamin Blitz. That was good timing. And a go-kart track underneath it. So I've built these like cars here, that's a bit of theming, and then the actual go-kart track runs underneath this bridge and around this area, so we'll go and have a look at this. There's another flat ride here before I miss it, which translates to Go Crazy in English. It's just one of the Sizzler style flat rides. So it's the go-karts track. There's a stand here for if you just want to watch whoever's on it and you don't feel like having a drive around, which is completely fine. So this ride's called Mario's Karts, which I thought was quite fitting, and it would be rude not to drop some sort of Easter egg for Mario Kart in this part as well. So we won't take a ride on that, you saw some of it in the cinematics. It's quite a standard layout, just going around the area and under the bridge. This brings us to the second to last coaster in the park, which is it's kind of Intamin family coaster, Mac Bob coaster. I don't really know which it was, so we can just call it both. It could be an Intamin coaster, I suppose, because I like Intamin. So we'll call it an Intamin family coaster. And there's another play area here as well. So this ride has a lot of block sections because it's got quite smaller trains, so it's got quite a high capacity throughput, which is something I wanted. Like, it's great for family coasters because they'll normally get quite large queues. So this ride is called Little Explorer, so we'll go in the entrance. I really like how this ride interacts with the actual queue as well, like going all over it with the queue covers, and then the custom supported lift hill as well. It's quite nice. So go up here with the nice wooden slatted roof and into the station. So I will see you after the coaster. So that was the Little Explorers coaster. As you can see, there's the maintenance area down here with the transfer track, where you can go to store all the extra trains. So we'll go down here. As I mentioned earlier about the access road, this is another way to access it. And it takes you down to behind the B&M Flawless coaster and this coaster as well, so they can all be accessed from here. I'll take you now round into the final coaster of the park, which is... I can't decide whether this is my favourite coaster or it's the Intamin Blitz. It's between these two for my top one. You'll have to let me know in the comments which one is your favourite coaster of the park. I've also made this little performance area here, so if they want to put on any shows for the kids, like themed entertainment and actors, they can put on a show here. There's a lot of benches, lighting, and the speakers on the stage as well. We go down here into the last area of the park with the final coaster called Rome. This is a B&M Flawless coaster, clearly inspired by Hulk at Islands of Adventure, and then Hydra as well, which is another B&M Flawless coaster. I really like this entrance here. You probably saw in the episode where I custom made this Cobra roll because I thought the in-game one wasn't as accurate as it could be, and the whole ride is custom supported as well. I'm really happy with this coaster. It's probably one of my favourite coasters I've ever made, to be honest. It's very realistic with all the manufacturer accurate inversions and everything, and then this Cobra roll perfectly frames the entrance. So let's go on the ride. It's got these trenches here as well, full of smoke, where the Cobra roll actually goes into, and the inversion that goes around the lift hill, a bit like Kumba or Busch Gardens Tampa. So got the off-ride lockers before you get on. We'll go in the queue, and there's this quite interesting JoJo roll that I did just outside of the station as well. It's a really slow and smooth inversion, so you'll get some really great hang time from it as well. We'll see if we can catch it as this train leaves. Come on, coaster. There we go, it's dispatched. As you can see, you get some really nice hang time going in there, lovely and smooth. If you want to see how I build this coaster and just how I make smooth coasters in general, you can check out my tutorial video, which I'll link now and in the description. It shows you how I use the 4-meter method and the autocomplete method to make smooth coasters. It works for your console and PC as well, which is great. There's a very windy queue around all the elements as well with the queue coverings to protect the people in the queue, and the transfer track area as well. I always like to make transfer track areas with my coasters because it just has that extra bit of realism, and it really shows that you have a good understanding for coasters as well. There's the staircase there for the block section in case it needs to be evacuated, and you come up here into the station. It's got the interlocking corkscrews there, just like Hulk and Kumba, which is nice as well. So I will see you after the coaster. So that is the final coaster in the park finished with. As you can see here, the exit path has stairs in it just because of how the coaster is positioned around it. So I've built another lift system, like in the wooden coaster, it's just copied over from there. So guests in wheelchairs will be able to access this ride as well. And it brings you out next to the lockers. So that is it for this park. It's completely finished. This is my 4th park, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I really hope you all like it. But more importantly, I just wanted to say thank you for all the support. Like, it's been absolutely crazy over the first year and a bit of my channel how far you've helped me all make it. Like my first park, Dream Park, which all my parks are on the channel if you want to go back and check them out, but Dream Park really helped me get a basic understanding for the game and kind of introduced me to the Planet Coaster community. And then I started doing Western Adventure, and that just completely transformed my my YouTube channel into something I just never thought I'd be able to get. Like, it's absolutely incredible how much I've managed to grow it, and I'm so thankful for all of the amazing viewers that I get with each and every video. I love reading all the comments and responding to them all, it's great. And then after that I did Peak Park, which is the park that I did just before this, which kind of really accelerated my channel into success, which was really nice. And then obviously this series, which has boosted my channel even more and kind of solidified me a really nice place in the Planet Coaster community, which I was going to come on to. It's one of the best communities I think you can be in terms of gaming. Everyone's lovely. It's so good to get in it. I urge you to, if you're inspired by any of this, to start creating your own stuff in Planet Coaster. It is really amazing. I've just enjoyed every part of it, and I urge you all to do the same. Some really great creators on this game, and it's just so good. So that is it. This park tour is now finished, and as we're leaving the park, I just thought I'd announce that my next park series will be starting towards the end of this year, and this is my last park series on console. My next will be on PC. I'm not completely abandoning console forever. I'll be doing some more work on it later in the year, obviously for certain competitions and stuff, but yeah, I'm now going to be starting my next park, which will be on PC, which should be good because then I can get access to mods and Theme Maker's Toolkit and all of that amazing stuff, so hopefully make the park series is even better. So I can't wait for that. Thank you all so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you all in my next videos. Thank you and goodbye.